Hello? Hello everyone. Today is the second part of the wedding DLC. I have no clue for it.
I know.
Oh, okay. Thank goodness. Oh, right. Where were we again? Wait, where were we? Wait, I need to read the log because I really don't remember where were we. Let's see. From a tourist. It's been a while, yes. Ah, right, so right at the very beginning of the DLC. Yeah, it has been. Cove dropped his response heavily. The tone likely would have been even firmer if he wasn't still in disbelief that Baxter had reappeared him in front of both of you. And as a wedding planner of all things, oh jeez, my voice feels raspy for some reason. Your wedding planner. Eat water. Oh god, it's actually quite hot in my room right now, despite it being autumn and the weather getting colder by the day. What happened? No one's heard from you at all. Until right now, I guess. The more he spoke, the more a sardonic edge caught up to Ko. Well... Oh, hello fast guy, how was your week? Oh jeez, I forgot to put up the pop-out thing. Oh, there we go. How was your week or day? As professionally as possible, Baxter strode to the other half of the room and took a seat in the rolling office chair opposite the couch you were on. He used the tips of his feet to smoothly twist the chair's position so that it faced you completely as he continued the reply. Yeah, my week's been pretty good. I recently started watching The Owl House. It's a really good animated series. It's basically an isekai where the main character ends up in another world through a portal rather than just outright getting killed by a truck or overwork, if you know what I mean. Yeah, it's been fine. How was yours? Yeah, mine was pretty good, I'd say. New assignments have been hopping up, still working on that. I started watching The Owl House. I tried to watch Our Flag Means Death, but I really couldn't finish watching it. I guess I just didn't like the style, perhaps. Who knows? Wasn't interesting to me, maybe. It most likely was. Pirate-related stuff hardly gives me any interest for the most part. I went back to college, eventually graduated, joined the great wide career world, grew up and learned some more. I'm still learning. To fully settle in, Baxter dropped an elbow on the armrest of his chair and rested his cheek against the propped up fist. That's the curated version. Life is a wonderful journey. It is indeed. Okay, maybe not so much of a wonderful journey, but a journey nonetheless. The words were spoken flatly, inauthentically, good grave English, and punctured with a dismissive gesture of his free hand. It was impossible to tell if the sarcasm was purely in response to Cove's own sharpness, or if there was something else. Even Cove raised an eyebrow at how clear the displeasure was. Oh, jeez. Baxter was aware of the impression he was given, but only half shrugged with one shoulder over it. His eyes drifted away from you and your partner. Whatever the story was, you definitely weren't getting the full version of it. Yeah. A bend in form in his eyebrows, a small sign of regret. Why? It is nice.
Well.
That's my introduction taken care of then. Let's swing things back around to the real reason You came. You're getting married. Congratulations. You're given an enthusiastic round of applause from the audience of one. How did the engagement happen? Must have been wonderfully emotional. A shame I had left town before I could find out. Well, let's just say it really was emotional. A fond, familiar flush of red crept over Cove's cheek. Well, we had come back to visit Sunset Bird for Airi's parents. For Airi's parents' anniversary. It started out as a normal trip. On the last day before we had to leave, we went out to the poppy hill behind Airi's house. I had been waiting for the right moment the entire time, and that was it. I asked Airi to marry me. She said yes, indeed. The pitch of Co's voice shot right up dramatically, going through that last sentence, and got him shimmying in his seat. I'm trying to imagine that. I can't imagine that. Just thinking back to that moment had him nearly tearing up from joy. How romantic, and very fitting for the two of you. Baxter slipped a pen out of his jacket pocket and tapped it against the desk counter at his side. He looks between the two of you, and Cove's satisfied. Thank you for answering. Considering we were already acquainted, it should make the process that much better. I'm sure your special day is going to be one to remember. It. Cove's uneasy single word was directed towards you. In a whisper, he elaborated on what that was supposed to mean. Are we really going through with this? Having Baxter plan our wedding? Well, yeah, great job at being subtle there. Cove quietly yelped. It wasn't unreasonable that the person on the other side of the room could hear the conversation, but Cove had not expected him to answer. Oh, I mean, I think I could do it well. I can do it right, and there's very few weddings I'd like to see go off like a charm than this one. He spoke in a conciliatory way? Baxter's normal boldness was entirely missing, while asking for this chance. You and Cove faced one another on the couch. The softness in his eyes and the sloping of his brows shared his thoughts without him needing to say a word. He was being swayed. You nodded to your partner. There was a pause, and then Cove spoke. Okay. While still on the couch, Cove brought his torso up to its full height and held his hand high. The look on his face was determined. Since this is actually the reality that exists now, I got a question for you, Baxter. Yes? Cove's strong stance began to crumble as he shrunk into himself once more. Is your offer for dance lessons still open? Your new planner gasped before quickly settling into laughter with a clap of his hands. Oh geez, your eyes, man. Your eyes, Baxter. Of course, always. That's a relief. I'm probably gonna need them.
I'm here if you need me.
I understand completely. I'm here for you. And you as well, Airi, if there's a need. Yeah, I like that. Got it. That works for me. Now, he shifted closer in the rolling chair with a glint in his eyes that made him look like the teen he used to be. Let's roll up our sleeves and get into the details, which I don't mean literally. No need to crumple my jacket, but I am going to have to ask you quite a few questions. I'm ready. So am I. To start, have we thought of possible surnames? Yours, his? What are you imagining? I don't care, just... Good grief, this guy. Very how direct, man. But we have actually talked about it. Yeah, we're going with... Oh no. Uh... Eeny, meeny, mo. Okay. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, da 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 na 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 na. Well, good to know. Airi and Cove Holden it is. Cove straightened up against the back of the couch. You could practically hear his heart pounding over your names being said as one that way. It made you giddy too. The raise of Baxter's eyebrows revealed his amusement at your reaction to what to him was probably something mundane, but he was happy for you rather than mocking. And what about titles on the wedding? Bride, groom, can be whatever you like, honestly. Can I be a groom? Of course, it's your day. Yeah, let's go with that. Very, very traditional, I guess. Not traditional, very normal, I guess. Wonderful. A bride and groom for the cup of the wedding. Baxter flipped open a notebook set on his desk. Can I get an idea of scale? Only an estimate. It doesn't have to be a complete guest list, and even if it was, you never know how many of those invites will set their RSVPs. Don't stress too much over who is going to be in attendance. Oh, Cove stepped off the cloud nine he had been hovering on since the start of the conversation, and planted himself back firmly on the purple couch in Baxter's office. For sure, there's gonna be our parents, 4 of them. Iri's sister, her uncle, aunt, and cousin. Wait, I haven't. Oh yeah. Some grandparents should be there, but not all of them. We'll have our friends Miranda, Terry, and Derek. You nodded agreeably as Cove filled Baxter in. He and Cove continued to come up with the family members, friends, professional relations, and the like to make an estimate size of the wedding. All the while, Baxter jotted down the information like an attentive student sitting in front of the class. And of those you most want and expect to be there, would any of them make up wedding parties, or is everyone a normal guest? Wait. What? Confusion. Let's see. Most wanted and expect to be there. Would any of them make up wedding parties, or is everyone a normal guest? What's that supposed to mean? What's that supposed to mean? I'm confused. Wedding party? Maybe a wedding party. Let's go with wedding party. Right, we hadn't picked exactly who'd be in it yet, but we are having wedding parties. Of course, let's discuss who is with the who. Oh god. Let's discuss who's. Oh man, I really need to edit. Let me. Animation, no. Medium. That should be easier for me to read for now, maybe, who knows. Save this here? Yes. Of course, let's discuss who's with who now then. It can be an equal split between the both of you, but it's not a rule. If one of you has a bigger wedding party, then the other is completely fine. It's all about the two of you. You can do as you please. Typically, Cove offered his first thoughts on the matter. I don't know, maybe it's embarrassing or even sort of dumb, but as great as my friends are, the person I want there to be there as my best man is my dad. Yeah, he's gonna be happy to hear that. Thank you. Having that close of a relationship with your father is a beautiful thing.
What do you think?
Airi, do you know who will be the lead of your wedding party? And the title isn't important. Best man, best woman, or best person, maid, man, or individual of honor, it's all fine. Oh god, that sounds confusing. Save again, save again, save again. Oh god, what was the question? This is confusing. Hmm. As my... Wait. I need... Okay. Very well. Anyone else in the parties? Well, I'm good with whichever friends and family being in my party, but I kinda want the size of things to be sort of close. Everybody would probably be in Airi's party if there wasn't more of a split, so if that's okay, there'd probably be 3 or 4 in the parties at most. Uh, yeah, that's not great. For your own party, you choose. Oh my god, this is. I need help. Help, I don't know what I'm doing. Uh, well. Uh, to. Oh god. Help me. Alright, yeah. And I'd use. Help. Oh man, I really want to go back. I don't know what I'm doing. See. That you successfully mapped out the members of your wedding parties. Perfect, I'll make notes. The statement was made extra clear by the clicking noise of Baxter keenly tapping on his pen on the armrest. On the On the topic of guests and that sort, are you open to attendees giving speeches during the reception? We can make it so only select people are arranged to say some words about the couple, or have a mic open for anyone interested in talking it, or discreetly circumvent anyone from gathering the attention in order to talk. I'm okay with that too. People are gonna tease us whether it's in a speech or not. Yeah. I was lost at the wedding party. Yeah, same here. I was like, wait, what? Party? What? Same here. Good. He continued along, casually accepting all your input. I'm just rolling with it anyways. And are you thinking of writing anything yourselves? For custom vows, just remember, it's an option, not an obligation. There's no pressure to make a custom declaration if you're not comfortable with it. Oh. Yeah. I think I want to write my own vows. I'm gonna be nervous either way, and there's a lot I could say. Then that's what we all do. Cove's eyes squinted up from his cheeks as he smiled at you so sweetly that you were feeling butterflies already, and the vows hadn't even been said. Lovely. Man, I feel bad for Baxter here, getting third wheel just like that. Oof. Nah, JK. Lovely. Just lovely. And that is highly personal, so you each can work on them privately, outside of our appointments. Baxter relaxed back into his chair and looked you both over. His smile curved widely, and it was a look that made Cove nervous. You could feel him begin to fidget uncomfortably at your side. Let's talk a little more about the traditions and wedding norms. We're all friends here, so I'll be frank. If one of you sincerely asks not to get splattered with cake, or for whatever else, and the other does exactly the opposite, simply because they think it's funny, I will personally see it to it that your marriage ends. If you can't treat your partner and their boundaries with respect on your own wedding day, you don't deserve them as you don't deserve them as your spouse. Good advice there, Baxter. That is some good advice. Now, I sincerely doubt that's going to be a problem with you two, but it's an occupational hazard.
In that case,
And with that said, do you have any requests pertaining to either the ceremony or the reception? We can arrange for anything special that you do want included. Yeah,
sure.
yeah, we can do that. Cove crossed his arms with a prudent nod. The longer he chewed on that idea, the more his lips tugged into a bent smile. And that means we can focus on what's important. Eating cake. Very well. Baxter claps his hands together, pleased with the direction of the conversation. That's another important detail alone. We should discuss who you'd likely to officiate the ceremony yet next.
I can do that.
I can arrange for standard justice of the peace to be there, but if there's a pastor, minister, rabbi, what's a rabbi? I don't know. Rabbi, judge, or anyone else that you have in mind, please send me their contact information. Preferably right away. I can work things out with them. So we're all set for the ceremony. Unsure of what to say, Cove glanced over at you. He scratched his cheek contemplatively. Yeah,
Right.
me neither. He shrugged, glancing over at you to make sure. A simple justice of peace was all you needed. Wonderful. I'll get that emotion right away.
Very well.
Save again. Yeah, honestly, I have no clue what any of these mean. Now, have either of you consider how you want to arrive to the ceremony? Will one come in first and then the other come down the aisle, or perhaps you both want to enter together? Uh, I don't know. You weren't sure what to say at all. This wasn't something you'd considered yet, but maybe Cove had. You turned to him, searching for his expression for any clues. Cove swallowed nervously. He closed his mouth, contemplating the various possibilities. Eventually, his brow furrowed, and attention rested on you seriously. Would you want to go together? I would. I'd love that.
Yeah.
Great. Cool. Okay. Exhaling his tension away, Cove closed his eyes. A weak laugh rattled through him. I think I can handle that distance without my legs giving out from under me, especially if we're doing it together. Unless I think I would laugh, more like chuckle. It slipped out before you could think of stopping it, frowning. Frowning Cove rolled his eyes with an unspoken awareness that you were picturing his fears almost perfectly. If you trip, I'll go down too. We'll be even. Cove's nose wrinkled as he laughed heartedly. Deal. He teasingly held a hand out to you. You rocked in your chair at first, and then you shook his hand to shake it. Took his hand to shake it. Great. Co's face was a shade pinker from the conversation, but he was pleased with what you both settled on. You were too. That sounds lovely. Baxter clicked his pen before dropping his attention to his paperwork. He glanced back up, giving you his full attention.
Does that sound alright?
Oh, and are you intending to exchange wedding bands? It's possible. It is possible to skip that. What are wedding bands? Oh, right, brains. Yeah, we got rings. Of course, we can easily save a moment for that in your ceremony. And a small reminder, couples generally take off engagement rings before the ceremony to wear. Just the wedding band during the wedding. Thanks. You couldn't help picture the matching wedding bands you had gotten together. They were... I think I chose rose gold. No, was it rose gold? Was it platinum? I don't remember. Yeah, let's go for it. And... They were incredible. They were incredible, but before you completely lost focus, Baxter spoke again. So, do either of you want to have a bouquet? A small chuckle fell from Cove's lopsided grin, but Baxter was serious and waited attentively. When Cove realized that, he shrugged. I like flowers, but I don't need a whole bouquet. It, uh, uh, um... Oh, God. Oh, I never noticed. Oh, there's the ring. Lol. Oh god, it was silver. Held. Oh man. It's a silver ring, not a rose gold ring. Oh my god. What? Huh? Yeah, let's get a bouquet. The shape of the shape and the color of it hadn't fully formed yet in your thoughts, but part of you could already feel the weight of the flowers in your hand. A satisfied smile tugged at the corners of your mouth. Excellent choice. Let's discuss what it looked like then. He leaned forward and interlaced his fingers together on the table. Excited, you glanced at Cove, and he gave you a supportive thumb in return. Would you mind if I had white poppies? No, it needs those. Since the instant Baxter brought up flowers, you had been positive Cove was going to ask for those. Are there any others that you want highlighted? Chrysanthemums would be nice, but unfortunately, they are funeral flowers. What do hibiscuses look like? Let me search that up. Hibiscuses. Snapdragons. Let me search up, what do snapdragons look like? I'm only imagining what they look like in Genshin, but I don't even know. I don't think that's the right. One. Let me see. Oh, so that's what they look like. Yeah, they look nothing like the ones in Genshin. Yeah, they really don't. They don't look alike. There's some resemblance, but they don't look alike. Okay, that's enough. I only wanted to know what a snapdragon flower looks like. Okay. No, wait, I wanted to know what hibiscuses look like too. Let me search that up again as well. Hibiscus. Hibiscus. Oh, that's what they look like. Oh, they're the tropical flowers. Well, that's cool. Okay. Peonies. White poppies and peonies? That's quite the combo. That's quite a combo, just like the two of you. With that added, Baxter picked his pen up again and took note of your specifications. He subtly nodded as he wrote. Well, since you're having that, this means that you have the option of a bouquet toss during the reception. Huh, that kind of sounds fun. What do you think, Airi? Yeah, that's a good idea. Baxter's gaze lifted up from his notes. Marvelous. That's about all of the basics sorted out, but if we still have time to talk about this, but we still have time to talk about the ceremony itself. There's vows, but from there you can personalize it with more rituals and such. If there's any particular tradition that you'd like to have, you're welcome to let me know.
Don't worry about it.
I don't have things I need. I'm not very traditional. I just want it to be a wedding. Oh, to be whatever Irie hopes for.
Charming.
Charming. Irie? Mm, yep, simple is best. Everyone gathered together. That's all I really need. Of course, it'll be straightforward, but still lovingly refined. Content with your wishes? Cove nodded eagerly.
Hmm.
Very well, so that's the ceremony. Now, any reception venue you choose will be large enough to have room for casual dancing throughout the evening, but I need to know if we should schedule for any particular kinds of dance, such as a first dance between only you and Cove at the start, for example. Both of you Both of you turned to each other curiously. A deep red blush crept across his cheeks, and when he felt overwhelmed, Cove's gaze dropped to the floor. Well, only if you're good with it. I mean, I would want to have a first dance. Yeah. Cove perked up at your answer. Despite still being nervous, he gave an eager shimmy in his seat. You beamed, overjoyed with the idea of your first dance together as a married couple. Pardon. Money dance? What's that? That's better than we should have done. I don't know. His arms were only. Nope. That sounds weird. Not really weird. That sounds something I don't want to do. There was already a few songs playing in your head, reminding you of the times when you were small and your mums would spin you around the kitchen and the living room. Oh, that sounds cute. A rosy blush dusted his cheeks a deeper pink. A parent dance. That'd be great, actually. And it's settled. Baxter continued to keep track of details by jotting it down on paper. He kept up with the pace of the conversation with words and writing easily. Oh, last night I was watching this film with my mum. Oh yeah, this French film with my mum. I forgot what it's what's I know what it's called, but I just can't say it. But like at the time, I didn't know what the film was actually called. Cause so I asked my mum if there was an English version of the name. She said yes, and proceeded to show me the French name for the film, and I was like, no, I don't think I specifically said English name of the film. I said what was the name of the film. So, and my mum, she literally showed me the French name of the film, and I was like, Mum, I can't read that. This isn't English. And she's like, A, so what? It's ABC. ABC, and that's it. I was like, oh my god. It's still a different language though. That's French. Oh yeah, the film in English was called Spread Your Wings. Spread Your Wings or something. It's a very good film. I forgot what it's called. But yeah, it's called. Just search up "Spread Your Wings" French film, and you probably find the trailer of it on YouTube. Still a good film. Loved it like one of the OSTs from that film, and I've added it into my YouTube playlist. Oh, and speaking of the ceremony and reception, that's my area of expertise. If you're going on a honeymoon on afterwards, that'll be something I'd recommend. Perhaps a travel agent for. Or honestly, arranging between only you two without any middlemen. Man. Cove didn't blink at the caveat.
Sure.
We'll handle that. Well, we're here, it's just about the day of. I get it. Fantastic. Now, back to the wedding. Do you have a sense of style you're aiming for? Is it formal? Casual? Do you have a particular color you want the wedding party to wear? Are the clothes for the couple meant to be a surprise for the ceremony, or would you prefer picking that out together? I'm not sure. And also, what about hair? I can let my hair down so it could be fancier, though if that's not important, I can keep it the same. Good question. What do you think, Irie? He considered the series of inquiries and responded by saying, just have a sip of water. I think that something in between would be good, in between formal and casual. A good mix of both, perhaps. Yeah, cool. And, doesn't matter. Me neither. Everyone can pick themselves. Also, maybe a surprise would be cool. That'd be nice. Yeah. And Cove, no, I think his normal one looks perfect. Maybe add a flower or something. That'd look cool. Okay, I'll keep it just like this. Excellent work. Now this has been... I know this has been a lot of Q&Aing. There's much to consider for this big of an event. Then Baxter's pen was placed back into the pocket it had come from. He ran his he ran his now free hands along the smooth inside edges of his jacket.
Thank you.
Thank you two for being so forthcoming. I've got a strong idea of where this is going now. I'm already looking forward to the next meeting where we can truly get into the specifics.
Oh?
That's everything? We're leaving? Yes, you can go, or you can stay if you want. That's the end of the actual session, but I'm not throwing you out. Oh, that's alright. Bye. Cove awkwardly waved Baxter off, despite still being seated and not going anywhere yet. He's gone so into the discussion of the wedding he'd forgotten his usual stiffness around Baxter for a time, but that spell broke. Baxter accepted the answer and pushed off the armrest of his chair to stand up straight. You and Cove followed his motion, sitting out of your own seats together. The wedding planner took one stride further to the center of the room and reached out his hand towards you. Yep, he grinned while giving your hand one satisfying shake. I'd say that. It's great that you are vexed. He snorted loudly, highly entertained. Goodbye for today, Airi. I'm glad to have seen you. Then he offered the same gesture to Cove. Your partner accepted it, casually, giving Baxter's hand a solid shake. Take care, Baxter. Thanks, and the same to you. You've got a wedding to be ready for. Don't forget to look out for yourself and your fiancé. I'll remember. The two men released the other's hand, settling their agreement to make this a chance and put a new foot forward in their relationship. Yes, please be friends. With that, the two of you found your way out of the office building. The pop and subsequent click from the opening and closing of car doors played out in sync between you and Cove. As he buckled in for the ride back, Cove commented on the experience. The sentence was hesitant and had an upward bend that made it sound like a question. So that went well? Before you could respond to the not exactly a question statement, Cove continued on with a new actual question. I mean, we got Baxter Ward as our planner somehow, but he seems good with what he does, right? He put his hands on the wheel and peeked at you through the reflection in the overhead mirror.
You're right.
Yeah, exactly. Cove had pulled out the parking lot as he spoke. The wheels jumbled easily down the newly developed city streets of the area. But that was the end of Cove's attempt at conversation making. He went entirely quiet. The pensive look on his face didn't allow you to relax into a normal, comfortable silence. Cove, are you okay? His mood easily lifted back up at the sound of his name. Forgetting all the Baxter stuff, I'm just really happy we're doing this. Sometimes I still can't believe we're together. We're engaged, and soon we're going to be married. It's incredible. I have never stopped feeling like that. Oh, and it never stops feeling like that. I don't think I'll ever be used to it. Not really. Yep. His cheek squished at what? His cheek squished at his eyes from the size of his grin. Nothing could stop him from looking forward to the upcoming occasion. Finally, the lack of words fell right between the two of you. You took the chance to let the day sink in as best as you could. After all the years you'd known Cove, you now were going to have a wedding with him. Yay! And the scenery slipped by faster than your eyes could keep up with you, as you got further and further into your own thoughts. Then suddenly, the day had ended, and you were drifting off to sleep in Cove's arms. It was early afternoon when you stepped outside, breathing in the good weather. The gentle breeze warmed your skin while you waited for Cove. He wasn't far behind, but there was still a serene moment to watch the puffy white clouds move across the sky. You were grateful for that, because the second you both hopped into Cove's car, your brain was filled to the brim with wedding planning once again. Man, this wedding planning sounds stressful. Before you could progress any further, you needed to cross one of the most important details of the list. Officially putting the wedding party together. That was the goal for today. Despite the nervous energy fluctuating in your stomach, you were already anticipating the stops and phone calls planned. Peeking over at Cove, you hoped he was too.
Are you okay?
Oh, wait, I never noticed. He's wearing sunglasses. Oh, that's cool. Are you doing alright, Airi? Bro, what's with the soft gaze? Jesus Christ. I have high hopes for today, and that's scary. But otherwise, I'm okay. What about you? I need water. Cove turned away while his eyebrows pinched together. His grip on the steering wheel tightened briefly before he made himself relax the stiffness in his pose. Tense but good. Better than good. Really, I'm excited. Me too. Every time you imagined the conversations you'd have today, they all boiled down to the same feeling. Joy. Yes, lovely. The joys of a wedding plan. That still sounds stressful. The people you picked were all important figures in your lives, and you just couldn't wait to see how they'd take the news. Cove nodded and added a happy hum in response. And with that, you were on the road home. Oh god. Naturally, Cove navigated the car towards the old neighborhood. It was soothing, winding down the familiar paths of your childhood. You spent so many years expanding your world little by little on foot, and then by car. The older you grew, the further you went, but there was always a place back there for you. Cove parked along the upper end of the street. Side by side, you headed out, aiming for his dad's condo. Your first visit of the day. For the day. Oh, this is different. Cove wanted to ask his father to be his best man, and you'd be there for him. Cove's nearly outstretched hand was halfway to the doorknob when he paused uncharacteristically. Pardon. Actually, I'm gonna knock. Well, that's new. I think he'll just be happy to see you no matter what. The warmth the warmth intensify in Cove's expression. His hand changed direction and he gave the door 2 firm knocks. It didn't take Mr. Holden long to answer the door. His initial shock was quickly melted into a cheery grin.
Come on.
Hey, it's good to see you, Mr. Sunnyface. Mr. Holden. Hey, come in. Hey, come in, come in. His attention bounced back and forth between you and Cove as he moved aside to let you stroll in. Hey, Dad, how are you?
Great.
I'm great, sport. Cool. Well, Cove stood bashfully, staring down at his feet and rubbing the back of his neck. You knew just how important this was to him. He took a deep breath and didn't wilt under his dad's growing concern. So, Airi and I were talking about the wedding, and I realized that I needed to ask you about something. I'm all ears, son. Whatever you need, I'm your guy. Cove swallowed nervously and nodded. Then the corners of his mouth started to perk up. I was wondering if you might be alright being my best man in the wedding party? Mr. Holden slammed a hand to his chest, clutching his heart. You waited for any kind of sign of life. A part of you weren't even sure if he was breathing until he finally gasped in a lungful of air.
Are you sure?
Cove, you don't have to do that. Cove's brows bent up, but his delicate smile grew wider. Nobody's forcing me. This is what I want. Dad, you've always supported me. Through the good and the bad. For my whole life you've taken care of me. Oh, that's so sweet. His expression was earnest as he stepped forward. His chest swelled with pride, listening to Cove's honest plea. Why would I want somebody else to be my best man? Completely touched, Mr. Holden grasped his son by the shoulders and then wrapped him in a hug. Cove embraced him just as tightly and rested a cheek on his dad. There's nothing in this world that will stop me from being there for my boy. Thanks, Dad. Sniffling, Cove's voice came out softly and laden with emotion. With teary eyes, Mr. Holden invitingly reached an arm out to you. Yeah, that simple invitation instantly had your vision clouded with I don't think I would cry in this sort of situation though. You shook your head, but mouthed a silent thank you for the offer. Mr. Holden nodded understandingly and hugged his son full-heartedly. You couldn't be happier to be joining their family. Finally, Mr. Holden pulled back, letting his shaking form settle again. Well, I'm sure you're both busy, so I won't keep you. Mr. Holden crossed his arms. Despite the misty eyes, he beamed, taking in the sight of you and Cove. But I really appreciate you both coming by. I'm around if either of you ever need anything. Thanks. And yeah, we need to invite the rest of the wedding party before we see the wedding planner later. You were our very first stop today. Mr. Holden managed to brighten even more hearing that. Cove shyly nodded and rubbed his arms.
Nice work.
Very good. You're being so responsible. I won't hold you up on your way. Thanks, again. And we're on the next, I guess we're on the next stop? You glanced over at Cove. He nodded surely and you felt a calming surge of confidence. Have fun spiriting the good news. We will. Bye, Dad. See you soon. The sun was warm on your skin as you left Mr. Holden's house. Stretching your arms overhead, you pivoted to Cove, feeling refreshed. Ready? Yep, let's go. You moved your attention to your mum's place, right in front of both of you. You pointed at the house. We're already here. Oh, we're already here. That sounded so forceful, jeez. I need water. More water. I don't know why, I keep getting tongue-tied whenever I read stuff out loud. Stepping up to the condo, you rang the doorbell and waited. Oh shoot. The longer you stood there, the stranger you felt. Because this still felt like your own door, the expression on your face pinched together oddly. But it was short-lived as your ma swung the door open and validated your thoughts. Hello. Hello. Oh, sweeties, welcome home. She eagerly ushered you both inside towards the living room. Ma then went over to the hall and cupped a hand to the side of her mouth to be heard in the other room. Pam, come see our guests! Mom curiously peeked out the bedroom door. Then she realized who it was. She beamed and gave you a little wave. Hey, kiddos. Hi, I missed you both. Your mum's expression softened. Mum joined you all in the living room, standing alongside Ma. What can we do for you today? We've been working on some wedding preparations, we were hoping to include you in that.
Oh.
I wonder what that could mean. Ma raised an amused eyebrow and then turned to Mum shyly. Cove glanced at you, wordlessly asking for you to take the lead here. Mum and Ma, would either of you want to be part of our wedding? Cove and I were hoping that Mum would be a best woman for me, and Ma would be a bridesmaid for me.
Of course.
Of course. Ma excitedly looked from you to Mum, and then back again. She was thrilled. If you want me to be a bridesmaid, then I will be. All I want is to be there for my wonderful child's very special day. Oh jeez. Mum observed you both closely for a moment. She then proudly put her hands on her hips and nodded prudently. You can leave it up to me, Airi. I still can't quite believe my own kid is all grown up and getting married. It boggles my noggin the best way. Oh yeah, I did mention I started watching and got up to date with the Owl House. Current favorite character, it would be, I forgot his name. It's the owl. It's that owl door guy. Hoot? Is his name just Hoot? Hootie. I think his name is Hootie. Hootie. Hootini. Okay, that's a bad joke. But yeah, pretty sure his name is just Hootie. It's very cute. Owl door thing. Oh, and also Hunter. Hunter's pretty cool. If I can best support you as the best woman, well, there isn't anything else that I could wish for. A small relieved sigh took away the remaining worries twisting in your gut. That went even better than you thought it would. A silly, sweet grin spread ear to ear on Mum as she swayed gently where she stood. She peeked at Ma.
Nice.
I can't believe it. I'm at the same party as Noelani. That's so exciting. Oh, hello, miss. It's so nice to see you here. How long have you been at this lovely party? Ma placed a hand over her heart as she spoke. They both had pink cheeks from laughter, pretending they're hanging out together at an actual event. Everything was so much sweeter knowing that your mums were thoroughly enjoying this. Spying on Cove out of the corner of your eye, you had caught the fondness he exuded watching you in return. He seemed just as pleased with your mum's reactions.
In that case.
Okay, well, we'll let you two go about with the rest of your planning. Thank you so much for surprising us with this. Ma brushed the back of her hair, observing you both affectionately. Mum nodded in agreement. You've got a lot to do, and I'm sure you'll be able to hack it. Oh, we will. Just prepare yourselves for the best wedding you've ever seen. We're waiting for it, right, Lani? Yes, we're expecting nothing but great things. Thanks, you two. We'll see you soon. Yeah, we appreciate it so much. The tips of Cove's ear were red, but he did his best to be unruffled under your mum's stare. He nodded with a warm smile. Bye. Goodbye. See you around. After that, your mums walked you to the door. You and Cove stepped out into the neighborhood, ready to tackle the next task on your to-do list. With one last glance around the neighborhood, you silently said goodbye. There was so much more to do today that would require hitting the road again. Humming to yourself, you watched Cove bring the car towards the city. Your visit next would be a meetup with Terry and Miranda in their neck of the woods. You couldn't wait. You did tell them in advance that the wedding planning was bringing you and Cove out that way, so your friends were expecting you today. So as far as they knew, they didn't have any idea what you were preparing to ask. Pulling into the parking lot along the street, Cove was in high spirits. He eagerly hopped out of the car, and you caught up to him with light steps. You weren't that far away from the car when you heard familiar, friendly shouts nearby. You spotted Terry and Miranda running along the brick path to meet you and Cove halfway.
Hey, buddies!
Hey, it's good to see them again. Hey, buddies. It's so good to see you. Hey, long time no see. You and Cove hurried over to meet them. He waved widely. Hey, thanks for coming down. Airi and I have something to talk to you about, and it's really nice to be able to do it in person. Neither of them dared to interrupt, but Terry and Miranda did share a silent look. They both seemed eager to know the details. Terry, could you be a groomsman in my wedding party?
Finally!
Yes, I made the cut. Thrilled, he threw a satisfied fist in the air. Terry's grin stretched ear to ear. Yeah, that's a good sign. We did a good job deciding out the parties. Teasingly, you continued to scrutinize your friends, and Terry crossed his arms defensively. I'm a groomsman, and you can't take it back. It's all set in stone. We could take it back. No! Cove snickered, leaning towards you. And then Cove's attention moved to Randy. He watched her eagerly in anticipation. Miranda, it'd be great if you could be a groomswoman in my party. Her eyes darted from Cove to you to Terry, and then back to Cove again before she believed this was all actually happening.
Nice.
Yeah, I accept. Thank you so much. That would be wonderful. Terry cheered again, pulling Miranda in for a one-armed side hug. Cove put a hand to his chest and let out a small sigh of relief. Go Team Cove! Yeah, Team Cove forever. Hey, Airi's party is just as good. I am marrying Airi, remember? We like her. Either this or this. I think this. Yeah, exactly. A warm blush rose on your cheeks at the sincerity of Cove's voice. Terry and Miranda turned to each other and smirked. Team Airi and Cove's wedding together forever. Terry put his hands on his hips and nodded sagely.
Agreed.
That's the truth, Randy. Seriously, thanks for this. Yeah, it's super nice to include us in the wedding parties. Of course. And we couldn't imagine the wedding in any other way. Thanks for meeting up with us today. That's nothing. You'll probably have to get going now, huh? Yeah, we have a meeting with the wedding planner pretty soon. The Baxman. With a curt shake of the head, Cove rolled his eyes, completely unamused. Miranda's brow furrowed. Wait, I thought you were joking when you mentioned that. Is he really planning your wedding? Yeah, he is. Wow. Oh, wow.
Preposterous.
I remember when we were all here watching free-range fireworks, and now you two are getting married, and Baxter is the one planning it. Preposterous. Yes, life works in weird ways. It's definitely something, but that's what we're doing, and we're gonna go do it now. Oh god. No, that was nothing. Cove awkwardly rubbed his arm. Understanding Terry gave a thumbs up. Safe travels. Bye bye. Have fun. Thanks again. We'll see you both soon. Terry and Miranda remained on the walkway while you and Cove returned to the car. When you were alone again, you spoke up. That was good. Yeah. He wasn't facing you, but you could still admire how happy the curve of his lips. The happy curve of his lips. It was nice to visit your friends for a little while, and it was even better to have another thing set for the big day. With a determined stare, Cove pulled out his phone and plugged Baxter's office into the GPS map. Once it was all set, he put the car in drive, and you both were on your way once more. While Cove drove, you pulled out your phone and scrolled through your contacts list. The rest of this task would have to be done long distance, so you turned the speaker up and made the call. Dialing your big sister, you set the phone to speaker. You were already expecting the inevitable joke she'd have up on her non-sleeves. Hello, Airi. What do you need to inform me of? Hi to you too, Liz. Oh, hi, Cove. This is gonna be good. Liz's intrigued tone became teasing, realizing she was on speaker. I guess you can't even pretend to have a normal conversation first.
No.
Nope. You're planning a wedding and you have something in the works by now? You can tell by the way Cove quietly took a deep breath that he was conflicted. In your gut, you knew he wanted to admonish her and shake his head, but she wouldn't see that. Your sister was a woman on a mission. Underneath her eagerness, you knew she was ready to fight for anything you truly wanted. And Cove and I were hoping you'd be the bridesmaid for me. I knew it. The only reason you both would be calling like this would be to ask something like that. Yeah, you're very clever for cracking the case. That's correct. It makes sense. And of course you'd request me to be involved with the wedding. Liz cracked up over the line. She needed some time to collect herself, but when she did, she spoke much more earnestly this time.
Thank you.
But that aside, honestly, I'd love to be a bridesmaid. Thank you so much for having me. No, thank you. That means a lot to me. Me too, little sister. I am glad that you're gonna be a part of this too, Liz. It's natural that you would be. You've been here all along, for better and worse.
Rude.
Rude, but fair. I'm looking forward to it. Cool, we gotta go and make more wedding things. Talk to you later. Keep me updated. Bye. Bye, Liz. And with that, you could happily check another box You could happily check another box off your to-do list. That was another invitation sent and accepted. Taking a deep breath, you pulled up the contact for the next person on your mind. You hit the call button and waited. Eagerly, you waited for your cousin to pick up. Cove noticed out of the corner of his eyes that you had positioned the phone a little further away than normal. He nodded in agreement in that decision.
Hi.
Hey, Airi, how's the wedding planning going? Any news? Here we go. Despite his amused tone, Cove still held the wheel more tightly, bracing for the volume of the coming conversation. Lee was clearly already excited for any potential scoop. Oh, was that Cove? Hi! Hi, Lee. Oh my gosh, she can still hear him. She uncharacteristically remained silent after the greetings, waiting patiently for what this was about. Hey Lee, can I ask you something? Mm-hmm. Well, will you be a bridesmaid at my wedding party? Really? Ah! Chuckling, you could feel Cove's affectionate gaze on your skin. It was easy for you both to imagine the way Lee must be vibrating with wedding energy as she let her enthusiasm spill out loudly over the phone. Lee's cheering was exactly what you wanted to hear. Eventually, she called an end to her mini celebration when she was forced to pause to take a deep breath. I think it's safe to say that was a yes. Sounded like one to me too. Totally, totally, yes, Simon, you know I am. Yes. I'm still just stunned about everything. My cousin's getting married. This is gonna be so amazing. Thank you, Lee. We appreciate the support. That's what family is for. I'm always just a phone call away. Thanks, Lee. We have some more wedding related things to do, so we'll pick this up again later. Works for me. Good luck with the planning, and I expect a detailed report face to face soon. Oh jeez. Of course. Bye, Lee. Bye, Airi. Bye. I'm still here. I'd never forget you. Bye. Energized, you're hung up already, awaiting the next time you'd see Lee in person. Stretching your arms out, you pleasantly took in the world rolling out the window. Rolling by out the window. Oh god. Taking a deep breath, you pulled out the contact for the next person on your mind. You hit the call button and waited. Staring at Kyra's name, you hoped she wouldn't be too busy. She luckily picked up only after a couple rings. Hello, Airi. Hello, baby. Hi, Kyra. Hi, Mum. How'd you know I was here? When are you ever... Oh my god. When are you ever far... When are you ever far... What? When are you ever far from Airi? Especially with what's been happening lately. Ah, yeah. How are my best kids doing? Good. Really good. Airi and I actually have something that we wanted to ask you. Oh, I'm all ears. I was hoping you'd be a groomswoman in my wedding party. Oh, my heart! Yes, of course, I'll be your groomswoman. You can count on me.
So glad.
Thanks, Mum. Yeah, thank you so much. Hey, that's what I'm here for. We have to keep going with more planning, but we'll talk to you later, okay? Good luck, my babies, and take care. I'll see you both again soon. Thanks again. Bye. Oh jeez, bye, Mum. Cove was elated when you ended the call. One more successful invitation was checked off the to-do list. Taking a deep breath, you pulled up the contact for the next person on your mind. You hit the call button and waited. Is this Derek? It is Derek. Let me see. Just get some water. Drink some more water. Man, it's always this game. It's always this game that makes my throat feel more parched than usual, but that might be because I'm like talking way more compared to other games. I mean, this is a visual novel, so I'm supposed to say out the words. You didn't have to hover over Derek's name. You hit the call button without another thought. He picked up before the second ring.
What's up?
Hey, it's Derek. How's it going? Hi, everything's great. Hey, Cove's there too. Talking to Derek always raised his spirits. You chuckled watching Cove's grin widen. Hey too, and Cove's right. Things are good.
Awesome.
Awesome. Did you both need to talk to me about something specific, or is this just for fun? Yeah, about that. Cove trotted off so you could pick the conversation up. I wanted to ask if you'd be a bridesmaid in my party.
Leave it to me.
Oh hell yeah, of course I'd want to be in your party. All those times being a polite guest at your house worked out. I proved myself worthy on such a position. A stuttering laugh fell from Cove at that. You know, you could have ended up in my party. And that's why I was always a polite guest at your place too. The brains is a muscle I utilize. You never realize that I'm always thinking ahead. You could hear Derek snickering over the line, but he soon settled down. Your cheeks were starting to hurt from smiling so much. Seriously, congrats again, you two. It means a lot to me that I'll get to be there with you through this. Thanks for being there, Derek. We can't thank you enough, Derek. You were pretty sure that you had knocked him speechless. All you could hear over the line was some sniffles. You both felt fortunate to have such good friend in Derek. What? To have such a good friend in Derek. Cove glanced at you with eyes full of affection before moving things along. So, what are we calling about? Oh, so that's what we were calling about, and now there's even more wedding planning to get to. Well, I won't keep you. I'm glad you called. See you later. Yeah, you will. Bye. Bye, Derek. Bye. Leaning back in your chair, you finally put your phone away and slid your attention towards Cove with an easy smile. The high excitement was fading and leaving a comfortable tiredness in its place, but you wouldn't trade the joy and support you got today for anything. Cove gave a little cheer over your mutual success.
Yeah.
We did it! We have wedding parties! Cove didn't take his focus off the road, but you could hear every bit of relief in his voice. The corner of his mouth curved. I mean, I guess it's not exactly surprising that things went fine, but it's hard to act casual about any of this. Cove stole a quick glance at you sweetly. You didn't have to say a single word because you both knew how much you shared his sentiment. This was a big and exciting deal, and you couldn't be happier to have Cove to share this with. The tension in his body slipped away under your touch.
All right.
Okay, let's hurry to Baxter's office. There's a whole rest of a wedding to plan for. Alright, right. Oh jeez. Pardon. A new day and another visit to your new wedding planner came down to the rushing river. That was your life at this time. You, Cove, and Baxter were each settled into the area in the same spots at the appointment prior, but there wasn't any of that initial shock. Instead, things started off with a simple greeting. Hey, we have a wedding party now. Everyone we wanted accepted. Oh, you work faster than I do. Wonderful. I'll check it off and we can move fully forward. I hope you're excited. You bet your ass, okay. Cove startlingly giggled over the conversation.
Me too.
Me too. Well. He pulled out his pen while crossing his legs in a fluid motion. Our company has its own in-house photographer for your event, so that's taken care of. But there's the meal, catering, cake, and any other dessert you want. I want a cake. Baxter coyly grinned at the abrupt interruption. Unbothered. I'm sure you get your treats then, along with those other outfits for you both. And you'll naturally need to decide where the ceremony and reception will be held. If you're feeling unprepared to make a call on any of that, we could always start with the dance lessons. What are you feeling? Knowing where the wedding is gonna be is pretty important to get done, but on the other hand, it's such a big thing, it's kinda intimidating to think about. Cove tilted his head back and forth, mentally working through his opinion on the matter. Baxter watched the struggle for a moment before bringing it back up. Airi, any thoughts for your to-be husband? How about venues first? Don't need to move around too much.
Yeah.
Baxter rubbed his hands together and grinned at you.
Absolutely.
Alright, now we're getting serious. Cove gulped, his Adam's apple briefly retreating up into his chin as if afraid, but he nodded his assent.
All right.
Airi is right. We should decide this. His eyes met yours as he bobbled his head again. Let's do it. You sat up straight, your back tearing away from the comfort of the sofa's cushioning, as you readied yourself for such a critical discussion in your wedding preparation. Here we go. Good. There's a stunning build. There are stunning buildings in the area, which used to be private locations, but have since opened up, specifically for wedding ceremonies, for any couple who would like to make use of them. Naturally, there are also plenty of commercial locations which can easily host a full-size after-party for your reception. His mouth twitched into a sly smile. Or, if you prefer something outdoors, there's always the beach. He chuckled, all fully aware of what an obvious suggestion that was for his current clients. You could go for a spot that can host both parts of the wedding, so it'd be entirely in one location. But there's no harm in making a little trip from the ceremony to the reception afterwards either. It's entirely up to you. He held up a hand and stopped himself. He held up a hand, stopping himself mid-flow, but continuing to smile wryly. But I don't wish to get carried away in a preamble. Where would you like us to start? He leaned in, not planning on missing one word. The hand which he had held in the air now propping up his chin. Let's see. Oh man, it's always this game that I feel parched over. Good grief. Let me switch on the heater again. It's getting cold again. Oh no, that's not. Damn it. Cove picked up on your prompt immediately. Oh, then if nobody cares, I'd like to talk about the location for the ceremony. Cove bit his lips as he weaved his fingers together on his lap. When he spoke again, his voice was soft and sweet, but just a little sheepish. That's the one I'm most excited about. Gladly. He relaxed back into his rolling chair, then took out a phone with one hand while extracting his pen on the other.
I can do that.
I've got photos of the places I've mentioned to let you actually get a feel for the scene. Baxter tapped away at a screen, pulling up the previews of potential ceremonial locations for your wedding. While he was partially preoccupied with that, he rattled off the specific kind of locations you could use.
So,
Let's just save here. So there's a few spots I'd like to show you. There's a mansion that was formerly privately owned, as well as a church, mosque, or synagogue, I can't pronounce that last one. In the same vein, there's the beach as always, or perhaps a different outdoor spot. Cove's eyes darted over to Baxter and back to you as he spoke up tentatively. So we're allowed to mention our own ideas for places? Baxter nodded admiringly. Certainly. What did you have in mind? Well, he was looking down at his shoes as he spoke, taking a deep breath as he glanced over at you. There's the Poppy Hill? You grinned sheepishly, as you rubbed the back of your neck. With its starring role in your shared memory, in your shared story, it made sense. Cove still flustered, returning your awkward grin. He was clearly pleased to see that you'd been happy with his suggestion. He turned his back to Baxter. I told you about it, and it's where we got engaged, and he swallowed. And well, it's also where we first met. That's sweet. He tilted his head away and closed his eyes. I remember seeing it when I was there. Cove's gaze was fixed on Baxter with rapt attention, waiting for his verdict. It's rather small and round. Cove deflated with his shoulders sagging. Baxter opened his eyes again and continued. If you don't mind your guests having to stand, there's just not room for your chairs. We could still set up a simple ceremony there. Cove chuckled as he straightened up in his seat. It could be worse. The confidence had been restored to him. Having Baxter take his suggestion seriously, even offer ways to accommodate it, helped put Cove at ease. Then he checked over to you. We don't have to do it there, though. If it's poppies you want, there's another option.
Does that sound alright?
I know of a bigger, flatter field of those flowers in the Sunset Bird area. It would be spacious enough to have a full setup there. Cove tilted his head as he peered at the phone, genuinely intrigued by the news of another source of his favorite flower.
Oh?
Oh, that's cool. It did sound like it might be quite a stunning location. You began considering the possibility. Let's just have another sip of water. Ugh, good grief. Good to hear. Then Cove jolted in his seat, his head snapping up as another idea came to him. Are people allowed to have weddings or whatever in Redwood Forest? Even though it's kind of further away, that's an amazing place to be in. He settled down into a warm nostalgia. We've made some good memories there. Baxter nodded surely. It is an option for certain spots. We could get it set up if you want. Cove grinned, delighted. Baxter spread his hands wide, holding the pen and his phone with his fingers, so that you could see the palm of each hand.
Well.
Those are the ideas. Those are the ideas. It sounds like. Tell me, what's standing out most for you? You know, the poppy field outside town would be nice. Baxter made a ring with his finger and thumb as he gave you an OK sign. It took him a little while to find a good photo. That was fair, since it wasn't a venue that he initially suggested, but he soon had his picture turned over to you and Co for inspection. Oh, that does look lovely. Wow! Cove's eyes stretched open as far as they could go as he leaned as he leaned in to examine the photo. That's just wow. He repeated his initial judgment briefly, utterly enchanted by the vast field of white poppies. Slowly, Cove managed to tear himself away from the screen and his thoughts, and he turned to face you. He cocked his head to the side, wanting to know what you were feeling about the prospect. Yep, that's definitely the one. Cove's eyebrows rose in response to your statement. The poppy field? His wavy brows relaxed, sloping gently as he smiled softly. I would love that. It'd be perfect for the two of us. Your body tried to gasp and laugh in excitement at the same time, resulting in a short, breathy snort offered by an exhilarated giggle. We're going to have a poppy field ceremony.
Exciting.
That's exciting. He smiled indulgently, like a teacher allowing the class a moment of levity before bringing them back to their studies. Before you get fully carried away, there's still the reception location to consider. Baxter glanced down at his phone, nodding almost imperceptibly as he clicked away to get the information he needed. There's a couple of big halls you should consider. One is frequently used for dances, and the other another for more formal events. There's also a large room in a historic mansion that could host the reception, the same one that I mentioned before. A rather new option is actually the aquarium in the city over, which now has the bandwidth to host private events. Cove's jaw dropped, and he uttered a single word.
Seriously?
Really? Really? It'd be in the main display room, with the floors on the with the floor to the ceiling tags. His mouth continued to hang open, his face frozen. It was certainly a rare opportunity, and you couldn't think of anyone who would be as excited by the option as Cove. As such, the news had temporarily stunned him. All at once, he blinked rapidly, closing his mouth in a hurry. Your attention returned to Baxter. The aquarium was certainly an option to keep in mind, but there were many other appealing choices to consider.
Of course.
Or, if you wanted something outdoors, there was always the beach, of course. And even though you wouldn't want to use the redwood forest for your ceremony, it could also work for a reception. So you're welcome to keep it in mind as an option. Like before, if there's anything you want to bring up yourself, that's perfectly fine. In fact, I recommend it. Save again. Save. He pursed his lips as he dug around in his mind, pondering the possibilities. A thought struck him. He shifted his face to you. What about the country club your mums are a part of? He snapped his fingers over and over, trying to drench the name back up to his tongue.
Right.
They had their anniversary dinner there. You know the one. He closed his eyes, brow furrowed deeply as he tried to recall it. You were torn on whether or not to bail him out. Before you came to a decision, Baxter caught on and filled in the blanks. Ah, yes, the Cypress, I believe. You nodded. Baxter returned the gesture as Cove opened his eyes again, looking both relieved and like victory had been swiped from under him.
It's doable.
They would absolutely be able to host your reception, especially since your family are already members. Cove beamed. It's cool. If we go with one of the other things, I just thought there was an idea. I agree. It was a smart suggestion. I have no doubt that they do an excellent job if you choose them. But it's really what feels comfortable for you. Baxter leaned in, perching his chin on the knuckles of his left hand. He was still holding his pen and his phone, ready to leap into action.
What do you think?
What's holding the most interest for you right now? We can talk it over. I feel like the aquarium would be nice. Baxter held up a finger to indicate that he would be a moment. That was very nearly all it took, as he was able to locate pictures of the aquarium's large display with ease. That looks lovely. He showed his screen to you and Cove. Cove gasped with such intensity that he choked. You turned to him alarmed, but he had already recovered and was leaning into look at the phone. He his knuckles taut as he gripped his knees. I've never been to that aquarium. His eyes were open as wide as they could go, as though he was trying to memorize every last detail in the scene before him. His mouth shut at last, fixed with a tight and intense line. He was super into this location. You chuckled to yourself. Of course Cove would love the aquarium. With it being open to the public outside of events, you reminded yourself that the wedding wouldn't be your only chance to visit the aquarium with him. Finally, Cove pulled his gaze from the phone and glanced over his shoulder to you. You could tell he was trying to figure out what you were thinking. Yeah, I think I'd like it. Cove lifted an eyebrow thoughtfully. The aquarium for our reception? His voice lifted at the end as though he was asking a question, but he didn't seem to expect an answer. Rather, it was as though he was contemplating the feel of the words on his tongue, checking that they felt right as a final test. Cove broke into a grin. I think you're right. It would match for us for sure. You had been holding your breath as Cove mulled over the venue one last time. You let out a sigh of relief. You'd already begun picturing the day with your reception here, and now that Cove confirmed that he felt the same, the tension drained out of you as he swiftly had it come, as swiftly as it had come. Man, English is hard. Your energy was mounting. With the venues checked and your idle daydreams of the big day moved from hazy imaginings to sharp clarity. The excitement radiated off you and onto Cove. He pulled himself closer to you on the sofa, your legs brushing against each other. Sensing that his audience was becoming distracted, Baxter quickly spoke up. A ceremony at the Poppy Hill and the reception at the aquarium after. Looking thoughtful, Baxter tapped his pen against the side of his desk. Your eyes were drawn to the source of the noise. He tilted his hand as if to tap it once more, the pen idly rolling between his finger and thumb, and then he smiled.
Perfect.
Sounds like a wedding. I'll make it happen. Cove spun to face you, his eyes alight with glee. You'd got your wedding locations. You felt every thump of your heart beating in your chest. It was a thought so simple yet so monumental that you were struggling to accept it all at once. You knew where your wedding was going to be. You read the emotions in Cove's expression that were playing out inside you too. The joy of being a step closer in planning the event, and the anticipation for the day itself. Cove beamed back. It all had seemed like such a huge undertaking that at times you wondered how people managed it. Now it was coming together so incredibly that you could hardly believe it. Cove chuckled at your words. Gazing into his eyes, you knew that all he could think about was the day that you'd just taken another step towards planning. Reviewing the venue options that had taken up the bulk of your allotted time with Baxter. Just another sip of water. Jesus, good grief, my throat is actually parched. Unbelievably parched. Oh god, my throat. He would now to reach out the location managers and make arrangements, so you came to the mutual agreement that you'd end it here and let him take care of matters right away. Goodbyes followed, then you and Cove goodly left the office and spilled out into the street together. It was a great way to end that day's work. You and Cove arrived at You and Cove arrived at Baxter's office on the dot of the allotted time. Emotions were still high from the preparations the previous days. After having settled down as the process had gone on, Cove's nerves had shot back to their initial appointment levels. Greetings were exchanged and Baxter didn't leave a space open for Cove to get lost in. Your planner went right to the point. What shall we be doing today? Okay, I feel like I should plan this bit by bit, sort of. Maybe 2 for next week and 2 for the week after, perhaps. Yeah, that might be a good idea. Let's save here. Caterer, design a cake, now Cove. That cake sounds fun. Let's do this for now. Let's do a bit of this and then we'll save for next week. Cove nodded his head, confirming that he'd registered your choice, Beside you, Cove's excitement had bubbled over. He was bouncing in his seat, too eager to restrain himself.
Yeah.
Good idea, Iri. Good idea, Ari. I'm definitely ready to plant treats. His open enthusiasm tickled you, eliciting an adoring chuckle that slipped out. Across the table, Baxter joined you with a soft laugh of his own. Meanwhile, Cove seemed oblivious to your amusement. You figured he was too lost in imagining delicious cakes to notice what was happening around him. Ah, yes. This guy is definitely a foodie. What you needed now was for someone to turn those dreams into reality. The agency had worked with suppliers of all kinds, so Baxter had a list of bakeries that they recommended for weddings. You and Cove had a few personal favorites too. Together, you reviewed the websites for all potential bakeries. Baxter had a wealth of handy tips of what to keep in mind when it came specifically to commissioning wedding cakes for you to take into consideration. The three of you whittled away the options until you finally settled on the one you wanted. With that decided, Baxter contacted them to arrange a meeting so you could select the flavors and discuss design ideas before working out practicalities. He easily secured a time that worked perfectly for both you and Cove. That brought you to the end of the meeting. The decision of which bakery to choose, the scheduling, briefing them on your basic requirements, had taken up all the remaining time you had with Baxter for today. The three of you rose from your seats together, one after the other.
Goodbye for today.
It's been great to see you. Yeah, I can't believe next time we see you, we'll be having a wedding cake picked out. Right, if everything goes to plan. Of course, I'm sure you have a great time together. I look forward to hearing what you decide on. Though I won't be there in person, you can always text me if you want advice during the process. Nah. Thank you. It was assuring to know that Baxter would be able to guide you. If you got stuck, what? It was reassuring to know that Baxter would be able to guide you if you got stuck, though you doubt that would happen. He waved goodbye as you and Cove left the office for the day. There's the cake shop. Right, I think I'm gonna have to stop here now, so yeah, I'll save this one next week. Because I'm thinking of splitting the parts into into two-ish parts. Maybe the second part the planning would merge into the actual wedding part, if you know what I mean. So yeah, yeah. Right, schedule. I already showed you what it is a bunch of times, but it's a good idea to remind others over and over again until they get annoyed by it. But yeah, next week it's a surprise. I wonder if I should do a preview. Not preview, like show a little bit. I'm kind of tempted, but at the same time, I'm a little scared. You know what? Maybe I should show you it a bit. Let me save it here first. Shoot. Let me save here first. Okay, I wasn't saving before and I was like, oh no. Let's just open PRP Live. Let's just open this first. Just gonna... Oh no. Oh no. Oh god. Okay. It's opening. It seems like Steam doesn't like opening two tabs at the same time when it comes to products coming from Steam and everything. Hold up, let me do a little... Yes, do not show again. Let me do a little doodle first. Oh jeez, what am I doing? So, will this even work? Okay, let's load. Uh, let me just exit this out first. Okay. This, do that. Okay, this should. Let's do a little. Yeah, yeah, this is a I'll talk about this a bit more the week after. Not the week after, like next week. Oh jeez, yeah, I need to do something about the mouth movement because it's not responding as much. Should I make myself bigger? Oop, nope, no. That's on it. That's the wrong one. The wrong layer. I got the wrong layer out. You just do something. Oh god. Unlock that. Yeah. Here's what it looks like. It's rigged by Parsley Risotto. So yeah, that's all I can show for now. I already revealed before the big reveal, but yeah, that's what I kind of will show for next week. So yeah, this is how do I save? Let me. That's not what I wanted. Oh god. Oh, well, let's see. Yeah, that's all I will show for now. I'll talk about it a bit more. Like, I tend to do some kind of like a re-debut, like a short re-debut of some sort, so yeah. I should save this again. Exit out? Yes, I do want to exit out. But yeah, let's bring the schedule back up. Oh jeez. But yeah, thank you for coming to this week's stream and see you next week. Bye bye. And